want us to get ready with our notebooks and pens to note whatsoever is going to be important and whatsoever is going to be transforming to our lives. I believe that we are all eager to hear what he is going to share today, and I want us to welcome him as he takes on his session. Edwin Peter, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm truly humbled right from the High Command Center. Thank you so much. I thank you all for endeavoring to see that we continue consistently in this assignment that we've been entrusted with. God would never entrust you with anything that you cannot manage. And so therefore, we want to say thank you to all of you, the team that we work with, to ensure that we continually go ahead and impact and transform lives timelessly. So kudos to you. Thank you, the headquarters, Mama Carol, Uncle Joe. Thank you so much, and the rest of the team members. We appreciate you highly. Well, today we are very excited. We are looking at the virtues of resilience. The virtues of resilience. I know the year has been at some point challenging, experiencing trials, storms, crises, and at some point you could have had a feel like maybe it is not working out, maybe things are not into what you had planned earlier. You feel you're at a place where everything is not adding up. You're questioning yourself. What is the problem? Could I have gone wrong? Maybe this is not what I was called to do. Maybe this is not my thing. And you literally questioning yourself. What is the problem? What is going wrong? You feel you're stuck. You're stagnant, you're stuck in a certain place, you feel like giving up, you feel you've fallen down. Man, that is the very reason why we're here as timeless transformers, to sharpen one another, to empower one another, to equip one another, to share one another's burdens in terms of information, knowledge, and where it is necessary also to come and lift up one another with emotional, spiritual, and physical disciplines of life that empower us, that are tools of transport to our destiny. So it is quite interesting today that we're going to talk about something that every human being ought to have in their lives. Resilience is a good human value that each and every potential candidate of greatness should strive to receive or to acquire. I repeat, resilience is a good human value that every potential candidate of greatness should strive to acquire. The question would be, what is resilience? And you're asking yourself, why has he got to talk about resilience? Well, in a lay language, resilience is one's ability to rise from challenging, problematic situations, difficult seasons, crises, and rise up again. It is a mental reservoir. Whoever has a seating potential in them ought to have, ought to acquire this mental reservoir. As long as you are a human being born of flesh and blood, you are no exception. You ought to have this value, this virtue. You ought to have it. Why do we call it a virtue? Because it is a good standard moral value that you need to hold on to in order to be an outstanding citizen in life. And being that we are timeless transformers committed to living to our greatness, we are potential candidates of greatness. Therefore, we ought to have some of the virtues that are going to transport us into our greatness. And one of them is resilience. We need it. We need it. That ability to rise above, that ability to be flexible and have a higher capacity of adaptability, to adapt in situations that are trying, challenging, full of pressure, full of tension. Are you able to be flexible? Are you able not to give up? Are you able not to throw in the towel? Are you able not to say, I am not giving up? If it means to die in here, let me die in here. Are you able to do that? Trust me, most especially, as long as you have a seed of greatness trapped on the inside of you, you will, like it or not, at one point of your life, embrace trials, challenges, pressure, crisis, and you have to see yourself through, or lest you lose the greater dream trapped on the inside of you. That's why you see along the entire year, we've been coming along with different topics to empower, to equip us. How do we maneuver till we come into that ideal, ultimate picture of greatness? A higher living, a successful life, a victorious life. How do you get there? How do you get to that place where everyone celebrates you? Every celebrated personality has not been exception to this one thing: resilience. They have experienced challenges, pressure, tension, problems, storms, crises, exigencies. But the one thing that has enabled them to be able to arise faster out of these troubles, out of these pain and stress and pressure and crises, is this one virtue called resilience. The ability to be adaptable and flexible, to add air in the midst of pressure, to add air in the midst of crisis. While everyone is running away from that pressure, from that problem, from that crisis, from that exigency, from that pandemic, from that troubling situation, you position yourself and you say, if it is to die, let me die here. That is called the virtue of resilience. It is of higher essence to be in knowledge from the onset that if you're going to live a higher living, a successful life, a victorious life, a celebrated life, if you're going to live a legacy life, you ought to know this one thing, that you're no exception to crisis, to pressure, to exigencies, to trouble. you are going to experience, cumbersome, very problematic situations and seasons in your life. The question is, how then do I strengthen myself with this virtue called resilience? I want to let you know, one's abscondment or running away or escaping away from life challenges is self-suffocation from living a higher life. One's abscondment from life challenges or trouble or pressures is self-suffocation from living a higher life. Therefore, as long as you have flesh and blood, and inside you is trapped seated potential, let me tell you this one thing. You are no exception to crisis, to pressure, to trials, to storms. You are no exception. Therefore, you ought to square up and sleeve up yourself and say, I'm into it regardless. I'll go till the end, all the way. Come shine, come rain, come storms, come floods. I'll go all the way. Thus, therefore, there is need for one to attain this virtue of resilience, for him to aptly recover from these scenarios that we've mentioned herein. There is need to. Therefore, we ought to understand that whatsoever we are doing, much as we pursue to get to our goals, to get to our bigger dreams, our ultimate ideal pictures that we desire to make us great, we ought to have internal and external abilities, emotionally, spiritually, physically, socially, for us to be able to adapt and be flexible to prevailing difficulty, pressure, crisis. That is the only way we are going to rise faster. That is how we're going to be quickened, fueled out of this pressure, but not running away from it, not using the escapism method to run away from challenges, from difficulty, from pressure. Do not abscond from the school of your greatness. Trials, pressures, crises, problems, difficulties are a schooling that is laid to quicken you into your ultimate picture. So don't run away from it. It only works on your muscle to galvanize you in order for you to be able to possess that bigger picture you're dreaming of, you are pursuing. Therefore, do not run away. Adopt. Be flexible. The scripture talks about that he that builds, a house on a rock, even when the storms come, they cannot destroy it. That is a person that has built resiliency, that when the storms come, they cannot destroy him or her. What is it that you built yourself on? Are you built on friends that are shaky, non-achievers, failures, non-finishers, good starters, but they don't finish, negative people? What kinds of people are you building yourself on? Which kind of books are you building yourself on? Which kind of models, consultants, mentors are you building yourself on? They are the ones that give you the ability to be able to be flexible and adaptable when situations come. The level of elasticity when the storms come, they will hit you left, right, not south, but you'll still stay. You may feel like you're falling, but you will bounce back. That is the level of resiliency you need. How then do I strengthen or build my resilience? Is the question. How? Yes, you're saying I need this resilience, but how can I be able to build it up? That is the question you're asking yourself. How do I get to this place where my resilience is so strong? Oh, I felt I wanted to give up. Oh, I felt it is enough. It is too much for me. I don't know how to rise out of this. It is too much for me. It is too shameful. It is too scornful. I don't know how I'm going to make it through. It's quite a paradox. It's very complex. I don't know how to get out of this mud. If only I gave you my head, you don't know what I'm going through. You will never be trusted with what you cannot manage. As a matter of fact, that you started it, that means you're able to manage yourself even in the midst of crisis. So do not hold yourself back. Hang in there. But you could be asking, hang on. How do I build that resiliency, that virtue, that value, that moral standard for me to be able to be flexible, to adapt amid this pressure, amid these storms, amid this flood, amid this difficulty, amid this tension? How do I do that? Number one, you ought to understand, to come to a place of awareness. You come to a place of awareness that challenges are prone to each and every one as long as you have flesh and blood. Everyone that you meet along your path of success, they've experienced, or they will experience difficulties, they will experience crisis, they will experience pressure, they will experience troublesome seasons and times. As long as you have that one awareness that difficulties, crisis, pressure, storms, trials, problems are prone to each and every candidate of greatness, or everyone that you find on path of success. Therefore, know it. Have this one awareness that I am also vulnerable to it. It is not that you are going to be free of storms when you start the journey of becoming great, of living to the fullness of your greatness, of living a higher life. No. We are going to experience these storms. And storms are defined to come and take out every root that is undesired. everything. It's, destroys everything in your way that is not needed. So you ought to embrace it. You ought to say, okay, it has come. Now let me square up to it. I know everyone has been in this state before who is successful. Mention any company, mention any personality that is legendary. Look at the Nelson Mandelas, the pressure, the difficulties, the crisis they went through to rise to where they are. Look at Martin Luther King. Look at the Ugandan murders, where we come from. Mention each and every personality. They've had their own packaging of pressure, crisis. But what made them outstanding was their level of resilience, adaptability, flexibility in the midst of pressure, in the midst of difficulties, in the midst of storms and floods. Their ability to be flexible. They didn't throw in the towel. They said, we are going all the way. Trust me, all the billionaires you hear of, actually, as you go higher, even the measure and the level and the depth of crisis becomes more deeper, more stronger. That's why you need to learn now how to deal with it. Lest if you come into a place of being celebrated, the glory that comes with living a higher life, with living greatness, it might be so heavy that it will destroy you, because your muscles are not able to sustain you in the midst of difficulties, in the midst of pain, in the midst of pressure. But one of the ways I'm glad that can enable you to be able to adopt, to be flexible in the midst of pain and difficulty, pressure, storms, trials, difficulties, and crises, which is resilience. And the way to build it up is by you being aware that everyone is prone to it. That if all the other people have made it through, likewise, I can make it through. The moment you have that one insight in your life, you have that awareness in you, then you're like, oh, if everyone has gone through it, that is successful, and I want to be successful, I've made up my mind. I made up my mind. I'm not giving up. I'm ready. Come left, right, north, south. I am in it. Let's square up. They hit you this side. You're like, okay. I felt you. I felt the pinch. Trust me, I've had times when I felt like throwing in some towel on certain things. I've had those times. And I'm like, I think it is not working. But the power to be able to know everyone has been in this before, who is successful. Me too, I'll rise again. That keeps me, fuels me, gives me the tenacity to rise and to push on. Do not feel ostracized when things are going slow. Draw from your power bank of resilience and push yourself through in the midst of that crisis. That is number one, how to build resilience. Awareness that difficulties, pressures, storms are prone to each and every one. Likewise, if they've made it through, Me too. I can. You can. Everyone can. So square up and let's go. And let's go. And let us push. And let us work on that deal. Work on that business. Work on that project. Work on that career. Work on that pursuit in your academics. Work on it. Read the books. Work yourself out. Grind and hustle. Push yourself to the farthest limit. As you push yourself, you're strengthening your muscle. Your muscle of resilience is becoming elastic, and it is pushing you and making you better, equipping you, fashioning you. You know? So as you do that, you're strengthening yourself. In the midst of the crisis, you are involuntarily schooling yourself for greatness. So let us not abscond from pressure, from difficulties. These things happen to everyone. So square up in your mind and in your heart that everyone has experienced this before, so shall I rise above it. That is the power of resilience. Number 2, you need to understand that there is nothing in this world that is new. There is nothing new under the sun. Everything you see that has happened to you, it is not new. Therefore, purpose yourself to ask, if it is not new, does that mean there are people that have gone through it? If there are people that have gone through it, how did they rise above it? Then it brings you to a place of being able to come to a place of knowledge. What are some of the techniques? They may not necessarily be applicable, but they will give you a blue template from which you will be able to define, to relate to, in order to be able to see yourself through in the prevailing circumstance, that difficulty, that pressure that you're experiencing as an individual, as an entity, as a student. Therefore, do not worry, do not trouble yourself. Gather yourself up. Say, oh, come on. If it is said that there is nothing new under the sun, I ought to come to a place to find, are there a people that have been in my position? How did they rise above this? Search with the Google search today, with the social media platforms that we have today. Go ahead, search. Don't just throw in the towel. Search. This is going to build when you read about their story, when you understand how they were able to maneuver and navigate through the storms of life, the difficulties of life. Woo! You are going to find yourself charged up, propelled, fueled up, stirred up from the inside out in order to be able to rise above that situation in your life, in your academics, in your career, in your destiny, in your dream. But how do you do that? To build that resilience is by knowing that there is nothing new under the sun. Therefore, if it has happened to me, there are people that have risen above situations that I need to be knowledgeable of. How did they do it? They had certain techniques. They give you insights and secrets and nuggets of how to rise above them. And then they may not necessarily be applicable to you, But at some point, they are going to give you a brute template of how you can relate with your situation and say, I think I can adopt to this technique, skill, tool that I can apply related to my situation that can push me through, and then add it onto what you feel you're experiencing. And before you know it, as you get hold of it, boom, you're out of it. You're out of that pressure. Before you know it, time is past and you're past it. So we need to understand that. We need to understand that. The book of Ecclesiastes, one of the greatest wise men in the universe, wrote in one of his wise sayings, Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verses 9. He said, the thing that is being, it is that which shall be. The thing that is being is that which shall be. You know, that's what he said. And therefore, it means that everything that there is, it shall be. You know, if you read down, it says, and that which is done shall be done. So what happened to them will happen to us, and what happens to us shall happen to others. But what do we do in the now that will be a schooling for other people? That people will be able to write something, to learn something of how we overcame. What is it we do today? Because what is will be, and what was is. So whatever we do today in the midst of our challenges, problems, is a script, that we are sending into our future for reference to the people that will come after us. What is that script that you want to be read of? Is it a script of failure or a script of victory? Choose. What is that script? In the midst of all that, think always, what script am I putting down for future reference? And as you do so, you're going to find yourself as a pursuant of living to your greatness. You say, no, great people do not give up. Great people adapt to each and every situation. I can make it. And that is the script I want to write. And that will give you momentum. And you're like, I'm pushing on. So make sure you understand that there is nothing new under the sun. Consult people through their books. The only way to debunk from the greatest, wealthiest personalities is by reading the books they write. That is the only way. What is it that they've experienced? Their biographies. Read them. See how they were able to maneuver and navigate through challenges. And there you'll be able to sustain, to be flexible, to adapt to situations. Even when the storms come, they may hit everybody else, but you'll stay rising and standing. Number 3, as we are close to winding up, learning to live from within out. Trapped inherent of each and every one is power. Is power to overcome, to adapt and be flexible to trying, difficulty, pressure, stormy seasons. Every one of us, trapped on the inside of them, is that power. But we've laid it so passive, it's inactive, that we've not brought it to manifest. One of the greatest scholars, the Jewish scholars of the New Age, in the book of Ephesians, chapter 3, verses 20, he said, to him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ask or think, according to the power that works within us. There is a power that can make us to do exceedingly, exceed abundantly, beyond what we can ask and think of or imagine. What is that unimaginable situation you're experiencing? What is that imaginable, unthinkable, difficult pressure? It is here. This Jewish scholar writes down in one of his books to the Ephesians, and he tells them, exceeding abundantly inside you is power that can work to make you rise above that situation, to arise. That power gives you the ability to adopt, to adapt to challenges, but it is drawn from within. Drawn from within. That power, for it to be stirred up, to bring you to a level of resilience, you ought to feed it. You ought to recharge it. Like we charge power banks, we ought to feed it with the right information. Have you ever been in a situation where you are in a company and all of you are experiencing the same problem, but others are quitting? They're saying we cannot be in this. Others are standing and they're saying we are not going anywhere. What makes a difference? It is their power trapped on the inside of them in terms of information that they have accumulated and fed on and consumed over time, that gives them, the ounce to be able to adopt and be flexible in the midst of storms. The others are gone the easy way because they don't have that information. They are wrong, amidst wrong friends. They are amidst wrong companies, fraternities. But you who took time and empowered and recharged your resilience powers within you, you believe right, think right, talk right, hear right. That power is built to sustain you, and it is what makes you to become resilient. That power on the inside of you. The power is fed involuntarily or voluntarily, knowingly or unknowingly, because every time we are in a perpetual consumption of information with our eyes, with our ears, and with our mind. So what is it that you're surrounding yourself with? It is eventually feeding your subconscious, your inner power, with information that will be able to sustain you in the midst of crisis one day. So be careful of toxic environments that do not build your power, that take away from your power. If the power bank is running out, it shows red. Whenever you find yourself panicking in the times of resilience, storms, and full of anxiety and depression, just know your power bank, your inner power bank, is blank. It needs recharging. Read the right books. Come to the right platforms like Transformershub. You know, listen to right people, right mentors, coaches. Read right biographies. Watch the right movies, inspirational movies that give you that empowerment, that build you up to rise above your situation. Do not place yourself in a panic mode. Otherwise, you're going to throw in the towel. Don't let yourself come to that place. Build up your power. Build up your power with information, with knowledge. Read several books as you position yourself for the future. Because like we said, nobody is an exception to trials, to difficulties. Nobody. So square up yourself. But as you square up, as you are in awareness of that, you know, and you know that under the sun there isn't anything new. Now add on top of that, build your resilience by recharging your power on the inside, learning to live from within out, because everything out is the result of the inner person. Whatever we see on this universe started from the inner mind of someone. Is it buildings? Is it creation? The creations of the entire world was a thought of God. And then it came into existence. It was from within out. Don't look from the outside. What everyone, what they've done. Oh, people are saying this and the other. Leave it from within out. That power from within is the one that is going to give you ability to adopt and be flexible in the midst of pressure, difficulty, storms. So hold on to that power. Recharge it from within out. Live from within out, not from out to out. It should be from within out. Live from within out. That power drop from inside you to the outside you. Last but not least, believe in a superior power. Believe in a superior power that is over you. Believe in a superior power that is over you. I don't care which faith background you come from, regardless of your faith background. I don't care. But there is a superior power over humanity. According to me, it is God. In my belief and faith, it is God, the sustainer of all the universe. You know, Philippians, still this is Paul, a great Jewish writer. He says in the book, in one of his great books, he's writing now to the Philippians. He says in chapter 4, 6 and 7, he says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything, be anxious for nothing. Do not fear. Do not throw in the towel. Do not panic. No, in everything, which everything, difficulties, pressure, storms, floods, problems, exigencies and crises. He said, by prayer, be anxious for nothing. In everything, be anxious for nothing. But by prayer, he says, make your request made known. You know, make your request made known through supplication and thanksgiving. But what is prayer? He's talking about, but by prayer, prayer is acknowledging that as an individual, you're so weak to deal with what you're experiencing, that you need to invite a higher superior power to come and interfere in your earthly affairs. It's acknowledging that you're weak, that you need to invite a higher power, a superior power, to come and interfere in your earthly affairs that are making you to panic, to feel restless, to feel depressed, to go into a panic mode. That's why you see senates, parliaments start with the word of prayer. Because at times, what is they are embracing is too much for them, that they need a superior power to interfere in what they are experiencing. During the economic recessions, economic crises, environmental crisis, social crisis, we need to pray. You need a higher power. That's why you find some other people, they'll try to, worship gods, worship altars, trees. They are all in search of that higher power. And eventually they are let down. But there is this one God, the God of all universe, the sustainer of the universe, the one that created the heaven and the earth. That one can never fail you. When you pray to him, he says, call upon me and I shall answer thee. He says, I am the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me? That power will make you to become resilient. And when you do so, your life shall be automatically changed. Therefore, hold on to those four. When you hold on to those four, my goodness, your life will not remain the same. The virtue of resilience will hold you up and take you to that place of victory. You don't throw in the towel. You don't give up. You don't give up. Otherwise, if you give up, the people that are coming after you in the future, they will have nothing to read about you. Do you want to be called a legendary, a timeless influencer, a timeless transformer, a person who impacts lives timelessly, that even after your existence, people are able to read your books, to read your script, and be able to be transformed, impacted, changed, and brought to a place of victory? If you're that person, this one virtue of resilience you need. And how do you do it? By becoming aware that everyone on the path of success is prone to trials, difficulties, pressure, and crisis. Secondly, there is nothing new under the sun. If there is, I don't know that. But one thing I know, everyone has gone through this. If there have been people that have gone through it, then therefore I can go through it, and I ought to read and get information that can make me also come out of it. Thirdly, I need to understand that I need to live from within out with the power trapped on the inside of me. Everyone has power that can enable them to rise above, but I need to recharge that power through knowledge, through the information, the right people, the right surroundings. In that way, I'm able to charge up my power bank that will sustain me in the future crisis. And lastly, believing in a superior power other than you, other than human beings. When you do that, trust me, your virtue of resilience will be to the next level. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best as you become resilient in that challenge or that challenge that you'll face in the future. Once again, I'm Edwin Peter Sewankambo, the Timeless Transformer. Thank you so much. Have a blessed evening. Back to you, the High Command Center.
Thank you very much, the Timeless Transformer. This has been a transformational meeting indeed, and we all agree with him that we have gone through this situation whereby, as he said, that nobody is exceptional of everything, of the crisis, of the problems, of pressure. I believe we've all gone through this, and we get to know how we are supposed to handle this. Is there anyone with a question before we close? If you have a question, kindly great nuggets of wisdom. Thanks, Papa Edwin. That was from Herbert Timothy. Timothy, it was nice to see you today.
It's a blessing to see them, Timothy. I hadn't checked out, and I see my brother Jimmy there. I see Judy. It's a pleasure. Coach Barbara, thank you so much. And I want to let you know, Coach Barbara is the one speaking to us. She's amazing. She's so powerful. We can't wait to hear from her next time. Brother Herbert, welcome back. We thank God for your quick recovery. God bless you. Jimmy, God bless you. I know all of us have experienced challenges, and God is rising us out of everything that we've been experiencing. That level of resilience is what is going to make us to shine again, Everyone is prone. If everyone told you what they are going through, what they've been through, you'll be in shock. You're like, I'd rather stay with my head. I can't take your head. Why? Because everyone has too much on there. At times people think everything is good for others, but if everyone had to lend you their heads, you'd say, oh, this is what you go through in cake making. This is what you go through with students at university, with Coach Barbara. This is what you go through with students at college. Mama, with us, getting us together as the human resource. At times we give her trouble. We are pushing her. I'm pushing her. She's pushing us. And she's like, how do we go about it? Jonah, I'm giving him information. Do this. And he's like, oh, it is too much. I have this. I have that. If everyone got you to a place where they are, you'd be in shock. But I'm glad that as Transformers Hub, we push ourselves to see it through. That is the virtue of resilience, and how we build it, we've just talked about it. It's good to see you, the entire family, once again. God bless you. Back to you.
All right. Thank you very much. And trust me, I believe these are not things that are stopping right now. As we move on with life, as we pursue for the best, for the greater visions, we are still going to experience these the pressure, the problems, the crisis. But as Edwin says, that let's hold on to that power within out. So I believe we've learned a lot today, and I believe that these are nuggets that are going to help us get to the greater place in life. Well, I want to thank you very much for being a part of us today. Thank you very much, Mr. Herbert, Mr. Jimmy. Thank you very much, Madame Barbara. We have Judith, Jonah. Thank you very much. We really appreciate. And those that are viewing us on Facebook that are still with us up to now, we really appreciate and humbled that you're able to be with us today. Well, it is going to be the same time next Friday, and let's be ready for Madame Barbara next Friday. We really love you, and so blessed that we have you, and so appreciative that you're with us today.